In the dazzling, high society world of Cairo, where money, fame, and power intertwine, a brutal crime sent shockwaves through the nation and beyond. This is the story of Heba El-Akkad, a young woman whose life was tragically cut short, and the shocking murder trial that followed, implicating one of Egypt's most powerful and well-connected billionaires. It's a case that exposed the deep-seated tensions between the ultra-rich elite and the general public, questioning whether justice in Egypt is truly blind. The year is 2008. Heba El-Akkad, a 24-year-old Lebanese pop singer, was a rising star known for her beauty and charisma. She was living what many would consider a dream life. However, behind the glamorous facade, a darker reality was unfolding. Heba had been in a secret relationship with Hisham Talat Mustafa, a towering figure in Egypt's business and political landscape. He was a real estate tycoon, a member of parliament, and a close associate of the then-president's son. He was married, powerful, and reportedly obsessed with Heba. Their relationship was a whirlwind of lavish gifts and international travel, but it was also fraught with jealousy and control. Mustafa allegedly bugged her apartment, hacked her emails, and monitored her every move. When Heba decided to end the relationship and marry another man, his obsession allegedly turned deadly. On a hot summer day in July 2008, Heba's body was discovered in her luxury apartment in Dubai. The scene was horrific. She had been stabbed multiple times and her throat had been slit. The brutality of the crime pointed to a crime of passion, but the calculated nature of the attack suggested something more sinister. Dubai police, known for their efficiency, immediately launched a full-scale investigation. The evidence trail quickly led them away from Dubai and back to Cairo. Security footage from Heba's apartment building captured the killer's image. Using advanced facial recognition technology and cross-referencing with immigration records, investigators identified the man as Mohsen al-Sakari. And this is where the story takes a stunning turn. Al-Sakari was not some random criminal. He was a former state security officer who had left the force to work as the head of security for none other than Hisham Talat Mustafa. The connection was undeniable. The investigation revealed a series of phone calls between Mustafa and al-Sakari right around the time of the murder. Financial records showed a massive payment of $2 million transferred from the billionaire to the former cop. It looked like a clear-cut case of a murder-for-hire plot, orchestrated by a spurned, powerful lover. Al-Sakari was arrested. During his interrogation, he confessed. He claimed Mustafa hired him to kill Heba El-Akkad, providing him with the details of her Dubai apartment and a substantial fee for the hit. He described how he traveled to Dubai, gained entry to her building by posing as an employee from the management office, and carried out the gruesome act. With this confession, Egyptian authorities had no choice but to act, despite Mustafa's immense influence. In an unprecedented move, the Egyptian parliament voted to lift his immunity, paving the way for his arrest and trial. The news exploded across the Middle East. A billionaire tycoon, a member of the ruling elite, was being charged with murder. It was the kind of story you only see in movies. The trial was a media sensation. Every detail was scrutinized by a public hungry for justice. The prosecution laid out their case, presenting the security footage, the phone records, the financial transactions, and al-Sakari's damning confession. The motive was clear. A powerful man, consumed by jealousy and rage, refused to accept rejection and used his vast wealth to eliminate the woman who dared to leave him. He couldn't have her, so he made sure no one else could either. The defense, however, fought back with a formidable team of lawyers. They argued that al-Sakari acted alone, perhaps in a robbery gone wrong. They claimed his confession was coerced, obtained through torture, a common allegation against security forces at the time. They painted Mustafa as a victim, framed by a rogue employee and targeted by a system eager to make an example out of a high-profile figure. They tried to discredit the evidence, questioning the quality of the CCTV footage and the interpretation of the phone calls. The courtroom drama was intense. The public was divided. Many saw it as a test for the Egyptian justice system. Could a man with so much power and so many connections actually be held accountable? Or would his wealth and influence allow him to walk free, reinforcing the belief that there was one law for the rich and another for everyone else? In May 2009, the verdict came in. The court found both Hisham Talat Mustafa and Mohsen al-Sakari guilty of premeditated murder. In a decision that shocked many observers who expected a more lenient outcome, both men were sentenced to death by hanging. The courtroom erupted. It seemed that justice had prevailed. The message was powerful. No one is above the law. But the story doesn't end there. In the world of the super-rich, a verdict is often just the beginning of another legal battle. Mustafa's lawyers immediately filed an appeal. They continued to argue that the trial was unfair and that the evidence was flawed. The case went to Egypt's highest court of appeals. In 2010, the Court of Cassation overturned the death sentences. It didn't acquit them, but it cited legal errors in the original trial and ordered a retrial. This decision was met with public outcry and suspicion. Many believe that backroom deals and political pressure had influenced the court. Was Mustafa's power finally bending the arc of justice in his favor? The retrial concluded with a new verdict. This time, Mustafa's sentence was reduced from death to 15 years in prison. Al-Sakari's sentence was reduced to life imprisonment, which in Egypt often means 25 years. While they were still held responsible, the significant reduction in sentences felt like a partial victory for the defense and a partial defeat for those who demanded the harshest penalty. For several years, Mustafa served his time in a prison hospital, reportedly due to health issues. Then, in 2017, another twist. Hisham Talat Mustafa was released from prison after receiving a presidential pardon, having served only a fraction of his 15-year sentence. The official reason given was his failing health. Mohsen al-Sakari also received a presidential pardon and was released in 2020. The release of both men, especially Mustafa, reignited the public debate. To many, it was the final confirmation that in the end, money and power had won. The initial death sentence had seemed like a revolutionary moment for Egyptian justice, but the subsequent appeals, reduced sentences, and eventual pardons felt like a return to the old status quo. It left a bitter taste, suggesting that accountability for the powerful is temporary and that true justice for victims like Heba El-Akkad remains elusive. The case of Heba El-Akkad's murder is more than just a tragic true crime story. It's a gripping saga about love, obsession, and betrayal in the highest echelons of society. It serves as a stark commentary on the complex and often troubling relationship between wealth, power, and the law. It raises uncomfortable questions that resonate far beyond Egypt's borders. Can justice ever be truly blind when confronted with immense influence? And what is the true price of a human life when the perpetrator is one of the most powerful men in the country? Thank you for watching. What are your thoughts on this case? Do you believe justice was served? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this story compelling, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into fascinating cases. See you next time.